bad news is the cat bitch took out the boss. I was there.
30 days has November,
But
April,
whatever,
June,
man. We
and
need a new plan.
September
Assuming
of
none
28.
you have a better idea, I say
New
we try
Year's
that
Day.
while the rest of them
Should
run
old
around in
acquaintance
circles
be
with
forgot and all that? I made sure she
I take
wouldn't
it by your
forget me
silence
that
that you
day,
don't.
didn't I,
Good.
Batman? It was the first New Year's party I'd been invited to in a long time. But then, I wasn't really invited, was I? The restraining order saw to that. Still, she and I had been close, or so I believed. And a new year means a new start. I admit, stepping into a crowded ballroom with a flamethrower was a bit dramatic. But what better way to melt the ice at a party? Perhaps she should have taken that cup of kindness from me when I first offered. Saint Valentine, give me your heart this February.
Look, the bad news is the cat bitch took out the boss. I was there.
30 days have
She did a
September,
number on him.
April,
But whatever,
June,
man. We
and
need a new
November.
plan. Assuming none of you
Valentine's
have a better idea,
Day.
I say we cut
Hearts
out
and
the rest of them
flowers.
running
The
around in
perfect
circles
occasion
with
to
jokes, untimely
smother
deaths.
my new love with
I take it
tokens
by
of
your silence
affection.
that you don't. Good.
I chose a dozen red roses, an assortment of truffles, and a darling little lacy thing. Excuse me, I didn't mean to be so intimate. You might say I'd overdone it. And in truth, at that point, my love and I had not actually met. Ever the romantic, I followed her to her apartment. Loudly proclaiming my love, I drowned out her screams of protest. Sadly, it was not to be, so instead of smothering her with gifts, I simply smothered her. St. Patrick's Day. Let's hope the river continues to run green, hiding the blood beneath the surface.
Look, the bad news is the cat bitch took out the boss. I was there.
30 days
She
have
did a number on
September,
him. But
April,
whatever,
June,
man. We need a new plan. Assuming
March
none of you have a better
17th,
idea,
the
I
day
say
set
we
aside
cut
for
out
St.
you while the
Patrick,
rest of them run
the
around
holy
in
man who
circles
drove
with
the
jokes
snakes from
untimely
Ireland.
passing.
Interesting
I
thing
take it by
about
your
snake
silence
venom,
that you don't.
Batman.
Good.
Some are green, just like the dye used to make green beer. That made it all the easier when I hosted that St. Patty's Day party for my old gang. As you remember, one of my henchmen tried to tip you off. I wasn't sure which one had done it, so I decided to punish them all. One dose of green mamba venom into the beer keg, and they were soon rotting under the shamrocks. So I guess that makes you responsible for their deaths, too. I'll drink to that. April 1st, a day of fools.
Look, the bad news is the cat bitch took out the boss.
30
I was
days
there.
has
She
November,
really did a number on him.
April,
But
June, and...
whatever, man. We need a new plan.
Well,
Assuming
well,
none of you
well,
have a better
Batman.
idea, I say we
Listened
hide out
well.
here while the
You
rest
appear
of
to
them run around
understand
in circles
the
with
importance
jokes
of dates, don't you? Let me tell you about this
I take
day.
it by your
This
silence
day
that you don't.
of fools. I remember clearly that I watched her for days, waiting for the perfect moment. It was cold that March. It felt like spring would never come. They drank coffee, and she confessed her life lacked surprises. For 6 more days, I watched. April 1st, 5:22 a.m. I finished cutting through the brake lines of her car. From the camera I placed on her dash, I saw her panic. My only regret? She couldn't hear me yell, "Surprise!" Remember to give your mother a call, Batman, then come back and see me.
Look, the bad news is the cat bitch took out the boss. I was there.
30 days
She
after
really did a number on him. But
April,
whatever,
June,
man. We need a new
November.
plan. Assuming none of
M
you have a better
was for the
idea,
murderous
I say
look
we
she
hide
gave
out
me.
here while the rest of them
O
run around in
meant
circles with
only
jokes
she was
about
weak
time
and
passing.
old.
I take it by
T
your silence.
is for her terror as she fought me. H is for her heart that I now hold. E is for her eyes swiftly dimming. R means rot, and soon rotting she will be. Put them all together, they spell mother, a word that means a corpse to me. Happy Mother's Day, Mommy. Father's Day, time to pray.
Look, the bad news is the cat bitch took out the boss. I was there.
30 days has November,
But
April,
whatever,
June,
man. We
and...
need a new plan. Assuming
I
none of
wasn't
you have
real
a better
close to
idea,
my dad,
I say we hide
and
out
after my
here
first
while the rest of
internment
them
at
run
Arkham,
around in circles over
he never
jokes
spoke at
about
all.
time passing.
Seems he wrote me off as a
Take
wacko,
it by your
a
silence.
loser.
Don't. Good.
So, after I was released, I wanted to clear the air between us. The next Father's Day, I dropped by his place and suggested we go fishing. You ever go fishing with your pop? Well, it's some fun, let me tell you. The two of us out on the water, pulling in one whopper after another. Of course, I was doing the actual pulling. Dad was baiting the hooks. You know, with a finger, a foot, an eye. Whatever I had left of him. Even today, whenever I eat a nice piece of fish, I feel closer to my dear old dad. Independence Day for all.
Look, the bad news is the cat bitch took out the boss. I was
30
there.
days after
She really
September,
did a number on him.
April,
But
June,
whatever, man.
November.
We need a new plan. Assuming
Explosives
none of you have a better
planted at
idea,
every
I say
exit
we hide out here
and
while the
beneath
rest
this
of them
cell
run around in
itself.
circles over
What better
jokes
way
about
to
time
celebrate
passing.
Independence Day?
I take it by your
My
silence.
independence, of course,
Good.
from Arkham. Unfortunately, I decided to be clever about it and had a calendar sent to police headquarters with the month of July ripped out. You figured it out right away and arrived just as the fireworks were starting. You stopped me from escaping, but not before the fire swept through the intensive care ward. But then, what's the 4th of July without a barbecue? The dogs will sit with their master on that hot August night, just waiting to sink their teeth into the bones lying bloody on the floor.
Look, the bad news is the cat bitch took out the boss. I was there.
Days have September, April,
But whatever,
June.
man. We need a new plan.
Do
Assuming
you
none of
remember
you
that
have a better idea,
wonderfully
I say we
hellish
hide out
August,
here while the rest
Batman?
of them run round in circles over
Packs
the
of mad
time
dogs swarming the furnace
I
hot
take it by your
streets,
silence.
savaging everyone in their path. One bite, and humans were reduced to crazed animals themselves. Good times. Though Crane provided me with the hydrophobia formula, I had the presence of mind to release the hounds on August 16th, the feast day of St. Roch, patron saint of dogs. An obscure date, I know, but I couldn't imagine a better way to celebrate the dog days of summer. You work hard all year, Batman. Come back and celebrate on the day you deserve.
Look, the bad news is the cat bitch took out the boss. I was there.
30
She only did a number on it.
September.
But whatever, man. We need a
June.
new plan. Assuming none of you have a better idea,
Early
I
September.
say we hide out here while
Kids
the rest
headed
of them
back to
run
school,
round in circles over
leaves
the
starting to
on time
turn,
passing.
and best of all,
I take it by
Labor
your
Day.
silence that you don't.
like the year I posed as a construction laborer and drove a bulldozer through the gold exchange. Or the year I referenced the labors of Hercules and released lions, bulls, and wild boars upon Gotham. Better than a circus. Even you have to admit last Labor Day was my most inspired. Laying siege to that hospital maternity ward? You labored mightily yourself that day. Saved every one of them. Well, there's always next year. Don't be scared, Batman. Halloween will be a day to celebrate if you come and see me.
Look, the bad news is the cat bitch took out the boss. I
30
was there.
days has
She really
November,
put a number on him.
April,
But
June,
whatever,
and
man. We need a new plan.
boo.
None of you have a better
Funny
idea.
thing,
I
Halloween
say
in
we hide
Arkham.
out here while the rest of
It
them
seems
run round in
redundant here.
circles over the Joker's
Within
body.
these walls, the monsters are on display
I take it by your
year
silence
round.
that you don't.
Of course,
Good.
there was that one year Joker led a breakout on All Hallows Eve. What a wonderful night. Costumed revelers innocently partying alongside killers and fiends. Of course, the real screams came when it was time to unmask. Trick or treat. will you help me give thanks this year, Batman? You have much to be thankful for.
The bad news is the cat bitch took out the boss. I was there.
30 days has November, April, June, and September.
Assuming none of you
You
have a
know,
better idea,
I always
I
feel
say
a
we
little
hide out
lonesome
here while the
in
rest of them
November.
run round in circles.
I think that's because even the worst of us enjoy a good
I
old-fashioned
take it by
family
your silence that
Thanksgiving.
you don't.
I know I did a few years back when I dropped in unannounced on Turkey Day. All those surprised faces around the table. Mom and Dad could hardly believe it. Mind you, I don't know whose mom and dad they were. I was on the run and needed a place to lay low. That family, whoever they were, could certainly cook. Stuffing and gravy and pumpkin pie to die for. Unfortunately, they did. Like I said, always feel lonesome in November. On Christmas Day, the Red Man comes. A bloody X marks the spot.
Look, the bad news is the cat bitch took out the boss. I was there.
30 days
She really
have
did a number on
September.
him. But
April,
whatever, man.
June,
We need a new
November.
plan. Assuming none of you have a better idea, I say we
Ebenezer
hide out
Scrooge was a
here,
saint
run round
compared
in
to
circles
old
over the
Judge
Joker's
Harkness.
untimely passing.
Remember him, Batman?
I take it by your
Gotham's
silence that
hanging
you don't.
judge, they called him. Even though the state had ruled me insane, Harkness swore he'd send me to the gallows. So you see, it was all a simple act of self-preservation. I could hardly be held responsible for strangling that street corner Santa Claus for his suit. I needed the disguise to sneak into the judge's Christmas Eve party. Harkness thought it was all in fun, until Saint Nick caught him around the neck with a string of Christmas lights. The cops found him later, hanging from the elaborate light display of his own roof. Judgy almost looked like a cartoon himself, alongside the comical reindeer, elves, and snowmen. I call that murder my Christmas special. New Year's Day comes but once a year.
Look, the bad news is the cat bitch took out the boss. I was there. She really did a number on him. But whatever, man. We need a new plan. Assuming none of you have a better idea, I say we hide out here while the rest of them run round in circles over the Joker's untimely passing. I take it by your silence that you don't. Good.